please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, subdates 250908. Starting this week off strong, we're revisiting an old sea creature that I'd long thought existing. And considering who we've lost, how are they still going? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Shanny for Christ and her husband, Baby Carrot Peen. The reason why is because more recently her son had been on a show. We're going to talk about that, but I'm not going to show any clips from it or play anything from it. I'm going to give you the Cliff's Notes instead, by one of my lovely patrons who had a DM exchange with my mod, lovely secretary Leona, who has an ASMR channel I'll link in the pinned comment. I am, though, for the sake of that person, going to remove any reference of that person's name who gave me the information out of respect for them, okay? We're a dickhead, not that kind. Now, I've covered Shanny before a couple times, not many, because she's an oddity. The first time was a content constable, the last one I ever made in fact. Highly recommend if you're interested in learning a bit more about them, you watch that video. I thoroughly enjoyed making it. It didn't do very well. Well, it did well, better than videos I currently. Let's go with that. Because they kept getting yeeted off of YouTube, I, for the most part, ignored their existence. And I ignored their existence because I wasn't entirely sure what kind of platform they could possibly create, considering what they are. They are just e-begging shills that took too much for granted and threw too much away, and fundamentally lost their way when it came to caring about what mattered the most. Not social media clout they got from Shane Dawson, no, their children. This is where those DMs come into this now. Originally, Will went to Black Guy TV, Will being the son of Shanny for Christ and Rev, and asked to, or was it just Shanny? You know what, my lore knowledge is limited, and asked to panel up with him. He said no. He was just in it for the lulz and he didn't feel comfortable doing so. Nova didn't want to either. When it comes to airing family grievances, much like with Amber Lynn, or Amber, with her Aunt Tammy, I did think a third party would be better in that instance. However, I can understand completely why it could be seen as wrong to take advantage of a real-life situation, more notably in this case a teenager who has been hung out to dry by his mum and dad. Fully understand that. I can promise you this with a hand on a heart, one of my two at least, that I would have said no had they reached out to me. And I'm not as involved in the Shanny sort of area, although since log cows are everywhere, I probably should consider it, depending on how this video does. Then the audience asked of burnt toast when she did her live. She also said no. I don't feel comfortable doing that. That makes sense, by the way. TJ and Carrie, two people who are ban evaders and actually that defenders and grifters, nah, they're fine in having Will up there. Hell, Carrie already shared voice messages they exchanged before he was 18. FYI, don't do that. Not only was the interview horrifying, but TJ kept talking over him, was sick in the sexual innuendos, and just Carrie did nothing to steer or even try to help. If anything, she made it worse. Carrie was the same person who had made a RIP Cobes video, basically taking Clint's video, no link to it at all, and just plastered it into her video with bad music. Just in case you don't know who Cobes is, that would be King Cobra JFS. Rest in peace, of course, King. To add to this, the people who did this stream with the kid, the teenager Will, they were boasting about making $250 from that stream. And because those that did allow Will onto their channel are very intellectually superior, some of the questions they asked were, how big is Rev's baby carrot peen? Did he have to wipe Shanny's booty while Rev was in jail? And how much did Shanny bathe? I understand we are all very interested in knowing how often somebody washes herself, themself, hisself, itself, because we've seen Shanny's house tour before when they didn't look after themselves at all. And I am sure on the face of it, this can all be seen as quite amusing. I don't find it that funny though. To be honest, I find this There's a moral line, and I think to those who did this, TJ and Carrie, you preyed on him. As my lovely Discord person here, Anal Bread, we're going to call him that, put it. Yeah? There is a worry and a concern for the future of any child of Shanny and Rev, that they could become like them or worse. And considering how bad they are as people, this is not something you want. I understand a platform is interesting, and I understand that everyone has a right to speak. I fully get all of that, by the way. But this is something that perhaps shouldn't be in the online space, certainly when it comes to lolcows, because of the damage it can do to Will. Giving that consideration instead of thinking of your profit margin and rubbing your earlobes at the same time isn't ideal. Now, because of Will being very vocal in other areas, it's worth adding additional context from Will. For example, Will had posted a comment. I don't want to talk to either of you anymore because you guys threw me away. In my most vulnerable moment, you both chose to harass me and not even try to listen to what I said. Especially you. Threatening to sue me over a damn computer you let me keep 3 years ago. You then proceeded to lie, claiming I didn't get it when I was 15. That you could legally take it back. I'm hurting so badly right now, and you too threw me away. I'm choosing to distance myself because I don't want to talk to either of you. You guys need to get your life together. Please, for the love of God, for the love of me and Zach, stop complaining on the internet non-stop, looking into drama. Stop constantly trying to make videos to convince me to come back when I don't want to because of how I was treated. Get yourselves together and try to push through. I know it's hard out there, especially with your physical and mental illnesses, but at this point I'm tired of trying. The both of you are constantly choosing to make things worse for yourselves. Under Ella's post with this comment, people are saying, run, Will, get a job, work hard, build a life for yourself, don't look back, except to find Zach. And I think that is very important. Someone even suggested a GoFundMe to help so that Will would have a better chance at surviving. This computer debacle had spiraled over a number of streams on Shanny's channel, and they won't let it go, as if that computer is somehow a bargaining chip. The role of the parent is to give everything to their child. That is the role of the good parent anyway, to make sure their child has everything they didn't have and they live a better life, but not one where they feel entitled to it, where they are then able to earn it and take those lessons onto the next generation when they're ready. Shanny thinks that by giving you something, even as family, that means you owe her. Your son doesn't owe you anything. You owe your son a lifetime of love, something which, much like everyone else I seem to have encountered in the lolcow world, you are incapable of expressing without using physical violence. And we know you've harmed your children in the past. Don't try us. Via community tab posts on Will's account, they have posted two things of note that I think are worth reading to continue this piece of the video anyway. The very first post they made, I don't think this is necessary to post, but I might as well post just in case. I have zero plans to make any videos for the sake of my mental health as well as my privacy. I only made this account to make comments. That is important, and I'm happy you aren't going down this path. Not because I believe you turn out like your parents, but because you need to find your own path in life. You are better than them already because of that one commitment. The second post, I'm going to try and move away from things relating to my mother now. I need to think about my well-being at this point, and I've already got more than gotten my point across. At this point, if I continued, it wouldn't be worth it. I don't know how I'll use this channel moving forward, if anything, but I want to move on from drama and my mother's manipulation. That isn't the type of person I am. I don't like to dwell myself in misery. Lastly, I'd like to thank all who supported me and supported me on the last interview, by the way. I'm splitting the money 50-50 with my little brother. Edit since people were asking, and then a cash app. That's fantastic news, by the way. Shanny never deserved to have kids in the first place, nor did Rev. And you have your brother. That is important. And I hope you two are able to be together at some point, if you're not. Because of the spiteful nature of who your mother is, I don't recommend you become a creator because I think she would use it as an excuse to hunt you down, weaponizing her own rather horrid position to cause you further harm. Go live your best life. Your best life at this moment, she's not in it. And on that subject, why don't I show you what Shanny's been up to of late, so you can see how shitty she is, and delusional for that matter.
I honestly, I hate sounding cocky.
Yet you're more than happy to sit here and ask for money for cigarettes, am I right, folks? Yeah. Why do you look ridiculously off your rocker? I would say off your something else, but I'm pretty sure they've just merged with the rest of your... I'll get demonetized for saying that. Actually, I'll hold back.
But I want to thank you, Mom, for the jeans, because I look amazing at 42.
You do?
Wait, you're 42? You're 3 years older than me. You have how many teeth? What drugs aren't in your system? When was the last time you had a solid bowel movement? When was the last time you worked out? I've got all these questions I want to ask because when I think about where I am in my life and all the crappy choices you've made in yours, is it worth saying you've lived a life if this is how you turn out? Every bad choice you could have made. At this point, there is no going back really for you. There's no redemption arc. So are you committing to the bit or are you putting it on? And yes, I heard Rev in the background. We should definitely hear what he has to add to the conversation.
You look like a college girl. Like you really do. You look like a college chick. Like 25. You look 25 to me, you know?
Bitch, the only way she looks 25 is if she's walked through Chernobyl first. This is why people can't take Mr. Crackhead that seriously. Mr. Carrot Peen. Not entirely sure he's a mister at this point though, let's face it. Your toxic relationship has led you two to each other's arms in perpetuity. You two can't live without each other. It's quite amusing, really, considering who has bailed on you yet supported you, and who still supports you. It's the same guy, by the way, who's literally gone on air to ask for money to buy cigarettes. That's him. You did only Fupa Fibro, failed adult film actor. You think she looks 25?
Super hot. Holy shit.
This is the same person that on her current channel, with 7,000 subscribers after being repeatedly yeeted for violating TOS, yet is still able to be on YouTube. Her most recent content from, well, yesterday to now, 6 streams later, and that's a lot of time, by the way. Look at that, that's ridiculous. She has streamed and taken full advantage of BPD, psychology, trauma, feminism, progressivism, rights for all, LGBT, politics, paranormal, religion, gaming. She's after everything, really. But she's taken advantage of every situation. She's been massively downvoted on everything, of course she has. But this is what we're dealing with here. And by the way, that profile picture is the epitome of somebody taking a bit too much of an advantage of a filter for their face.
I am
Baked, sozzled, compromised, incapacitated, dim, slow. Should I say that slower? High, inebriated, on a trip, euphoric, doped. Would you like additional synonyms? Because I can go with hooked, loaded, bombed, ripped, wasted. Words you're not. Sober.
so proud how I look at 42.
Okay, there you go. You got it out.
Because I don't keep up to date with the current goings on with Shanny for Christ, I know BGTV is a great font of information in this territory. I am curious what their current living situation is, because I can't imagine it's great. With all they lost and them never seeking to be better people, removing content a lot, yes, I know you do that, to protect yourself as best as possible, but getting the views for a while before you have to go scorched earth. I am curious what they are able to do, how far they're able to go, and if they really are just doing this for their life, where one of them looks like they have cancer and the other one is Shanny. Insert whatever you like as far as what you think they deserve here, but don't put it in the comments, it'll get me into trouble. But we all have those thoughts in our head, don't we? There are people who are so inherently bad, Shanny and Rev are them, they don't deserve anything good because they've never sought to live a better life by being better people. You lost your kids, there's the proof of it.
You look phenomenal. Yeah. Look at your face. Look at yourself up there. You look like a college chick. Look at you, Shanny.
She would look like a college chick if the college chick had been run over by multiple trucks first. That would explain the swelling then, wouldn't it? This is basically what they do when they're not taking advantage of the situations they create, like their children, to make content. They've also gotten into that, as you may have noticed, the vertical camera thing. Yes, apparently doing that helps get more views. It was learnt from Quirky Love Rosie. I don't care for it personally. Amber did it for a while. Chantel doesn't do it yet, but I do expect her to in the future because she knows where the money's at. But she is older and a bit of a creature of habit, or younger than Shanny, but she's certainly a creature of habit that's too proud to do things that would make her life better. So a bit like Shanny, really. As with all subjects we cover here, I'd love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below.